Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth Elmore here. I just wanted to kind of share with you why I've started Courageous Hearts and kind of go through what it's like, living with anxiety and ADHD. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of what, people who struggle with mental illness kind of go through, and maybe you can then learn to listen and kind of, understand a little more. So, we're gonna go live. Okay, so
I got no internet.
so I'm gonna use my phone. So I'm here with my 15-year-old Nathan, who has struggled with ADHD and anxiety his whole life. And it took until, how old were you when we finally got you on medication to help you be able to focus?
I think I was 9.
Yeah.
Like 8 or 9.
So it took a long time, for us to really get him what help he needs, because before he was on medication, he struggled in school, like with his grades. He couldn't focus. At home, he was really agitated all the time and just frustrated. Like, I know you dealt with bullying a lot too.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people just bullied you for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, so, like, if you are having, well, for me, I know when I have an anxiety attack, it isn't just one thing that sets it off. For me, it's usually little things that kind of snowball. Is that is that how it goes for you, or is it different?
I'd say it goes the same way. For me?
Yep.
Yeah, it would go the same
So,
way.
like, little things just kind of snowball.
Yeah.
So, and one thing I've learned, because it took 41 years for me to realize, well, I've been on Prozac since probably my 30s, but it took that long to really get diagnosed. And I'm still working on the ADHD part myself, because I have trouble focusing, and when I think that something has to be done really quickly, instead of stopping and just doing it one step at a time, I start to try to speed through, then I can't focus, and I get agitated very easily. Is it kind of like that with you?
Yeah.
So you just kind of...
I get, like, frustrated.
Yeah, really easily.
Yeah, where I can't, like, focus.
Yes.
It's, like, hard for me to focus. And I just... When I can't focus, I get mad and like that.
And then it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
It makes it worse, and you gotta walk off, cool down, and then try it again.
Yeah. And one thing, I've learned, and it's taken me decades to learn this, is to, like I said, as soon as one little thing starts to get me even just a little bit agitated, I need to stop, figure out exactly what it is, and deal with it then, because things will snowball very quickly. And then you're irritated. The stupidest stuff at that point can really kind of set you off.
Yeah.
But, like, what are some coping mechanisms you've dealt with? Because I know they say to breathe, but for me, breathing only helps while I'm taking deep breaths. After the fact, it doesn't do anything. It's still there. So, like,
what I do, this is the main thing I do, because I learned it from you. I just walk off,
yes.
take a break, cool down, or I'll put earbuds in. I'll listen to music. That helps too.
Well, see,
it helps a lot for me.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because music has been a thing that's helped me my whole life, even before I realized what I was dealing with. Like, music has just, it seems to understand you, and it can put you at a place to where what am I trying to say here? It's like,
It like puts you in like a better spot, like a position,
Yeah.
like where you can like focus and stuff like that.
yeah, it does. So I mean, like, you know, you can see people that who are, you know, they may just seem like they're in a bad mood, or they're just irritated, and you know, more often than not, it's not that they're always in a bad mood. It really is more of, and I find it's probably more of an anxiety thing.
Yeah.
So I think instead of, you know, just snapping at them and saying, well, why are you always in a bad mood? Why are you so grouchy? Sound familiar?
Yes.
Yes. How about just saying, you know, hey, is there anything you're nervous about? Or like, is there anything that's coming up that you're anxious about? And I think that would help the person to be able to kind of, you know, get it out. And then, you know, having somebody to talk things out with helps a lot too.
Another thing that helps a lot with me is hanging out with friends, going outside and do stuff like that, talking to friends.
Yeah, instead of staying cooped up in your room.
Yeah, staying in the room all the time.
Yes, while video games are great, we're both players. You kind of have to be mindful and limit that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember I used to stay in my room all the time. I'm still in my room, just not as much as I used to be. I got out more, started hanging out with friends, started going to people's houses, and it's really helped a lot.
so I mean, like, into if you even feel like you may have an issue, or you feel like someone you know may have an issue, like, encourage them to just talk. Because I mean, not everybody's that comfortable with going to the doctor and talking to doctors about it, because you know the media has put they've made mental health seem really bad, but it's actually just as important as your physical health, if not more so.
I remember I had to go to therapy for 2 years just because I couldn't find the way I think and the way I do. I struggled a lot with that. I struggled a lot with focusing. And I couldn't be myself. I was stuck like that for a whole 2 years. I went to therapy.
Yes, we went back and forth on medications with him for not only anxiety and depression, but for his ADHD specifically. That and we switched doctors quite a few times with him, because we had doctors who just either was like, well, you know, we don't believe in medication, which I mean, I get that, I think, but when you're at the point that he was, I think medication is necessary just to kind of take you down a notch, and then you also add therapy to that. So I mean, because not everybody's comfortable talking to family members, or I mean, even like with teenagers and stuff, they're not comfortable talking to their parents a lot of times. So giving them a third party, a neutral party, right?
Yeah.
Because like, it was more comfortable for you to talk to your therapist.
Yeah.
And for a while there, we didn't really even, I think we maybe went to your therapy sessions once or twice, because for the most part, we try to give you that space.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. If your child or whoever's struggling is to the point to where they're so pissed off, you know, please allow them that space to walk away. Please. I mean, how many times have I told you myself, go for a walk?
A lot.
I mean, and it helped.
Yes. And some parents out there, they just don't understand. They don't understand how to give their kids space, because
Well, that reminds me that I think your dad's that way.
yeah.
So like, yeah, he has ADHD too, and he is not medicated at this point, but he also gets irritated over the littlest stuff, and but I've had to get him to where, you know, you just gotta learn to walk away and just give people space. There's a lot of people out there, especially like myself, who they need time to themselves to recharge, because like all I can do is give you the example. Like, I work in retail, one of the largest retailers in the world, and being around that many people for that length of time drains you. It really does drain you. So, like, you know, my kids will tell you, you know, when I get up in the mornings, I need a cup of coffee and 30 to 45 minutes. When I get home, I need a good hour to just be by myself and collect whatever thoughts I've got to go through, because it's just being around that many people, it's a lot. And for me, I get up in the mornings, I'm around people. I go to work, I'm around, it's 24/7 thing. So yeah, it's good for everybody, I think, to have the time to themselves.
Yeah, I know when some people out there are going through depression, they have nobody to talk to, and
Yes.
they try hurting themselves. They try doing that. I know when I was depressed, I tried doing the same thing, but I had somebody to talk to, and I tried so hard to keep my mind off of doing things, doing stuff that would hurt me, and I found a way to get over depression by just talking to people, getting out, having a good time and stuff like that, hanging out with my cousin and friends and stuff like that. It took me 2 years to get over it.
Well, it's not something that's going to happen overnight either, and it's not like you're gonna, you know, just be on medication and be perfectly fine then, or you may get out of the depression, or, you know, get through the anxiety moments, but they may come again. I don't think there is really a cure. It's just being aware of your mental self, actually, and just try to be mindful of others, because you never ever know who's going through what. You don't. I mean, really, that's it. You don't know.
Yeah. I have ADHD. It took me forever to learn how to control my ADHD. When I first got put on ADHD, I would skip my medicine and stuff like that. Now,
Yes, you did.
now I've been taking my medicine daily, and I've learned how to control my ADHD. I'm still iffy on it. I'm still working on it a little bit.
I think you'll always work on it.
Yeah, but I'm way better now than what I used to be.
I'm going to cut you off for a second just because you said something about your medication. Remind me to take my Prozac when we get back in the house.
Okay.
Because I ain't took it in like 2 days.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. I feel like if you have the schedule that'll allow you, if you're on medication, to take it at the same time, that's great. But if you're like me and your life is back and forth, oops, you're going to skip. And I think my kids are starting to realize, and they're being able to notice if I've gone a while without it. Because I start to get hyper, and then I start to get irritated over nothing. So, yeah, anything else you want to add?
When you were talking about hyper and everything like that, I remember I was at school, and I would always skip my medicine. I wouldn't take my medicine. I always get hyper at school. I'd always get killed by the teachers and stuff like that.
For not being able to stay
Yeah.
still. Because my grandma used to call me a wiggle worm when I was little, because I could never stay still.
Even if I take my medicine, I still can't stay in one spot. I just can't.
Well, see, I'm gonna tell you, I know your Uncle Ken was never diagnosed with ADHD, but I remember him in the 3rd grade, and he could never sit still, so the teacher let him go to the back of the class and stand up and kind of move around if he had to. Which, I mean, I don't know if your teachers, now that you're going to high school, would do it, but, I mean...
They didn't really do it this year or when I had ADHD. I just did trouble. They put me on the fence, put me in detention or something like that.
See, and that's crazy. I mean, it's not something that you can instantly control.
Yeah.
So I think, So I think schools need to be more mindful of that. Yes, I called you out, Uncle Ken. You'll be alright.
Suck it up.
But yeah, so, if you would, just kind of be mindful of everyone, and, just treat people the way you want to be treated. I mean, it's something so simple. but we will try to have these discussions every so often. And I'm pretty sure Mama remembers that, by the way. But does anybody have any questions? And since you're the only person on here right now, Uncle King Ken, questions? Alrighty then. Alright, so we are about to sign off. Right now I'm going to stick with a Facebook page, but I will probably be working on a website and a possible podcast later this year. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for your support.
We sure would. Thank you.